AM. This is your motivation for the week. Get your bite.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Hey, hey, hey. Good evening, good evening. Hey, I am so excited that you are with me here on tonight. Listen, I am Marshall Sterling. I am your host. I am your hype girl. Listen, I am your resident motivator. Listen, and I see you getting your vitamins. Hey, I see you getting your vitamins. Hey, get your vitamins. Hey, get your vitamins. Hey, get your vitamins. Yes! Welcome to the Vitamin M Show once again. And I am always excited, and it is always an honor for you to come and join me, because what I know and what I realize is you don't have to. You get to make choices in this life, and you made the decision on your own to join me on tonight. You know what? To get your vitamins, to stay motivated, because there's always a word, there's always something that is going on the show that is going to take you to the next level. And listen, I'm telling you guys that tonight is the night. I say this probably about every single solitary show, but man, listen, tonight is the night. I have one of my sisters with me on tonight, because remember, we have been talking about my story. Everybody has one. What's yours? And on tonight, I'm already sitting on the edge of my seat, because I'm already prepared for what she is going to bless us with on tonight. Listen, LaNesha Renee Creeks is an international speaker, a certified neuro coach, an EMDR therapist, workshop leader, and two-time author. Listen, two-time author, come on. Her aim is to spark transformation in you with real-life tips from her personal testimony of resilience, healing from emotional trauma, overcoming toxic workplaces as a career woman, and new beginnings as a newly widow. She has a heart for women's empowerment, faith-based encouragement, and teaching communication skills. LaNesha Renee earned a Bachelor of Science in Psychology from Lincoln University of Missouri and a Master of Arts in Counseling from Prairie View A&M University. She is a native of Dallas, Texas, and she enjoys traveling, singing, and dancing. I'm telling you, that is a mouthful. Help me to welcome my sister, LaNesha.
I'm glad to be here. It's a blessing, and I'm ready to tell my story.
Are you ready to tell your story?
I mean, do I have a choice? I'm here.
I don't think you have a choice, sis. We done made it. Listen, if you done showed up, you might as well go on and tell your story. That's a lot. Like, sis, I mean, come on now. Two-time author, a neuro coach, an EMDR therapist, and a workshop leader, international speaker. What else do the people need to know about?
I mean, I've done a little praise and worship in my day. So, you know, I'm a songwriter too. But, you know, we just gonna take the people slow one at a time. You know, it's a lot of layers here, okay? It's a lot of layers. So, you know, we're gonna get into it.
We're gonna get into it. We're gonna start with, listen, we need to start unpacking the layers and getting into this, because sis, it's my story. So it's like your story. Everybody has one, because we all do. Now, you all know we all have a story. We all have a story. Somebody has something to tell, something to share, something they've been through. But you know what? This is your time to share with people. What's your story? Where did it begin? Like, what? Okay. What is it?
Right in Dallas, Texas, USA. I'm the daughter of Myra Creeks, Lamas Creeks. They grew up in a rural area, but they met and they moved to Dallas, and that's where my story begins. I'm a product of Dallas Independent School District, where I later returned as an educator as well. And I also catered to students who had special needs, probably driven by the fact that I had a cousin in my family that gave me that exposure. And so I wanted to give back. So that's really where my story began. And I remember being in first grade when I had a challenge. I didn't know what bullying was because my family was loving, giving, caring. But there was a student who really didn't like herself. And she was picking on me. And I didn't know why, because I had a few little friends. I didn't bother nobody. I was a little smart, cool nerd. You understand?
You understand?
And she was just picking at me. And so it became a thing. Our teachers called the parents. We had a whole parent conference. And I'm just like, what is all of this about? And come to find out, she didn't have everything that she needed in her household. And she was jealous of me. I didn't know what jealousy was.
In first grade.
In first grade. You'll be surprised. You know, I really learned that as an educator, how much students really endure. It can start early. And so my feelings were hurt. I felt traumatized even. But it made me appreciate what I had at home. Because, you know, sometimes we take things for granted.
Yes, ma'am.
I didn't really realize how much I was being provided for and how much love I was being shown and how much my self-esteem was being built up. She didn't have that. And when she saw me, it pricked something in her. And really, we later became friends. And so I think that kicks off part of my story too. When God makes you a unique individual, anytime someone encounters you, you never know how their life is going to be changed, even if it starts off in a rocky place.
So even in the midst of her picking on you because she saw something in you that she wanted, it resulted then in a friendship.
It did. It resulted in a friendship. And so when I think about it, other students started asking me questions and coming to me with their problems at home and situations because they realized, you know, she kind of stood out for the issues that she had. And people consider me to be relatable, even in elementary school. I really think it paved the way for me to become a counselor later in life.
That, you know what, and that's so, I think that is a common thread among educators is that we take our struggle and then we take that struggle and it's like, I can take this and use this in another way. And people begin to see that. And so it's like, okay, I can take this because see, I took mine to be able to then, okay, well, if I have a stutter, but what can I do for other people? Right. And then here you are saying, okay, I was even relatable in elementary school, which then fast forwards us to you having a degree in counseling.
Yeah.
And so tell me this, so you have somebody, this kicks off the experience, which ignites something within you. So we're going to have to talk about this. We're going to have to dive more into that because I want to know, how did that lead to this journey to be fly? Because what is it like what do you mean to be fly? And where did that then take you to? We're going to discuss that after these messages.
Want more of the Vitamin M Show with Marshall Sterling? Go get your vitamins daily in the on-demand section of the Inspire You app, or subscribe to us on YouTube for even more content. Continue to enjoy the show, and don't forget to spread the word about the Vitamin M Show with Marshall Sterling.
Welcome back. Listen, we are here talking to my sister, my friend, someone near and dear to my heart, LaNesha Creeks, and she is talking to us about her story. Remember, it's my story. Everybody has one. What's yours? And this is her opportunity to tell her story. And before we left for a commercial break, we were just about to dive into, and I was like, oh shoot, wait a minute, we got to go to commercial break, sis. I was about to mess up and not kick it to commercial break. But I'm like, okay, we were about to dive into talking about what led to this journey to be free. And I just gonna sit back. You all don't know, this sister here I'm just gonna sit back. When I'm gonna dive in, when I can, I'm gonna edge of my seat. What is this journey to be fly?
All right, so the foundation of the journey to be fly, it really started when I think about how I was raised, the belief system that was put into me. So Be Fly is an acronym. 5 keys to overcoming adversity. So the B is for believe. E is for exhale. F is for feel. L is for listen. And Y is for yield. Okay, so we're gonna break it down even more. That's just a little introduction. And also, it has to do with your attitude, your overall attitude, because we always have a choice when you're faced with adversity, right? Right? Tell the truth. We
Come
do.
on. We got a choice.
So, be fly is a slang, and it has 2 meanings, and you have a choice. So, one version of being fly, you know, even from the 70s, super fly. You understand? It was about your walk, your talk, you know, your dress, the way you carry yourself when you take over a room, okay? Be fly at all times, at all costs. Don't let nobody pull you, okay, off your game and off your course.
Come on.
Another definition, no, that was slang, is when you kind of tell somebody off real quick in a real witty way, they almost don't catch it. You be fly with them. I shy away from that one, but I'm capable, okay? We're all capable, but that's not what I'm advocating for. I'm advocating for the first one, to be you, okay?
Be you.
And so we're going to talk about that even more so. If I dive into my story, I'm going to fast forward, okay?
Come on.
I told you that, you know, my goal was to be a counselor.
Okay.
And I am. But I took a detour. God has a way of, you know, making crooked places straight. And he led me right into education. Now, that was one of my grandmother's dreams, to be a teacher. I was going to skip over that thing because I recognized they are overworked and underpaid. And I said, I really just want to counsel. God, you showed me this when I was a little girl.
Come on.
Why we teaching first? But I yielded to the process, right? That's part of being fly. And so what I found out is that nothing is wasted. Every part of your journey, God will use it on the way to where he's taking you. He'll perfect you. He will grow you right where you are. And it's really not about title. It's about your function.
That's it. Come on.
Okay. So I'm doing my thing. I'm selling in. I'm happy. And then I run into a supervisor that kind of remind me of that little first grade girl that wasn't that happy with herself. But it took me a while to understand that that's what it was, because I hadn't encountered that thing in a while, and here it is.
But twice you've encountered this situation. And are you about to, wait a minute, let me just see if I can kind of preview. Are you about to tell me that you've encountered this twice with somebody that don't care that much for you, that's about to start trying to hate on you, and where is it? And this is, don't tell me this is about to lead to.
Listen, this is right in the midst of me trying to help the children, okay? And so let me just say, there was a situation on campus.
Okay.
Heads were about to roll. People were gonna be accountable and in trouble, okay? And they were pulling us in the office trying to see who could they put the blame on. I'm gonna just tell the truth, shame the devil. So it was my turn. And by the way, let me just say this. It was a Friday. It was a long, challenging work week. I was just glad I had made it through, people, okay?
Come on.
Facts. And about 15 minutes to going home time, I'm, you know, collecting my belongings. And I heard my name over the loudspeaker, and I said, Oh, I know they not calling me, because I wasn't even a part of what? And then I did my little self-talk, because I know how to be fly. I said, listen, just walk down here. I composed myself.
Because you're trying to gotta be fly.
Okay, because I'm a professional. Okay, I said, I'm going to go down here. And I did. And I get to the front office, and the secretary doing me like this.
It's the eye contact, talking without talking.
The whole side eye. I already know what it is. So I said, okay. So I go in, I sit down in front of the supervisor now. And the person stands up across the desk, leans over, yells right in my face.
Jesus. Oh, Lord.
You're not my daddy.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus.
Oh, and I'm in shock. I'm I'm trying to take it all in. Is this really?
Did you wait? Did you stay fly?
I froze. That fight or flight or freeze was kicking in. And in that moment, I froze because I was really in shock that it was even happening. So B-Fly was at work. It was at work. And so this is the thing. I stood up, I turned around and I walked out. I got in my car without thinking. I drove all the way to HR. I really don't know if I stopped at the stoplights and everything. You know, check the cameras. But I made it. And when I walked in, that's when I started to really realize that I was shaking. I was trembling about what had happened because I felt unfairly treated. I wasn't even given a chance to explain my side of the situation. And in my family, we always got a chance to speak. You might have had to wait till Sunday, safe talk day. But even as kids, we got to say what happened, right? Explain yourself. So I'm standing here at the counter at HR. And she says, hold on, sit down. She helped me get myself together. She offers me Kleenex. I'm trying to sign in. She said, hold up, are you from that one school? And I couldn't even get the words out. Yes. She said, baby, sit down. She said, you see this stack of papers over here? She said, all of those are complaints on this supervisor. So you don't even have to add your name to the grievance. It's already being taken care of. So right there, I just want to insert that God will go before you. He will prepare the way. This had been a total of 2 school years, 18 months, that I had felt low-key workplace bullied, but I didn't know that term at the time.
Wow.
And I was being optimistic. I was pushing through. I was checking my reason for being there. And it was for the kids. But this thing they were trying to blame on someone, I was about to be the scapegoat. But God removed it. He removed the situation.
But because God will protect us in situations because you kept your composure, because you did not, because I can only imagine what could have been said in the moment when somebody stands before me and screams, but that all leads to you being fly, because you can't say you're gonna be fly if you're not fly in the moment.
That's it.
When it means to me, when it really means the most, in the time that it's probably about to, like, and what did you say? The first one was, I have a choice to make.
Yeah.
Being fly is also my outward, but it's also my attitude.
Yes.
It's my mindset. So in that moment, you had to think quick.
Absolutely.
And make a decision. And I don't know. I don't know.
Well, this is the thing. Like I said, it had been an 18-month thing. So at the time it got to this place, I look back and HR got involved and they helped me finish the school year. We put a plan in place. And so that experience I drew upon, and I started looking back over my life. And that's when I pulled out the 5 keys to overcoming adversity, the 5 points of B-Fly. So I'll be glad to break it down for you even more.
Oh, listen, she has got to, yes, sis, you're going to have to break down these 5 key points. What are key things in those 5 that we can do? Because I myself and the audience, I know that we all want to be fly. We're going to get key points to be fly after these messages.
Are you looking for a way to present your product, service, or event to a new audience? Are you ready to take your business to the next level? Act now if you would like to be featured or advertise on the Vitamin M Show with Marshall Sterling. This is your chance to present your product, service, or event in over 200 million homes. Do not miss this opportunity. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to www.marshallsterling.com.
Welcome back. The journey to be fly. And listen, when we was on commercial break, I needed to have a truthful moment. When my sis was sitting here and she said that the person got up and then And then when Taven screamed in her face, I said, I don't know if I can be fly. Hold on, let me go and get this book. Let me read some of these tips out this book because I don't know. Just gonna be honest. I'm gonna need to remember. I'm gonna need to read the tips so I can remember to be fly when something like that happens to me. But what sis, I heard you saying we were there but that is what led to this book. And I'm just gonna go ahead and make sure you guys can see the book. You need to get the book. She's gonna tell you how to get the book later. But talk to us about the journey to be fly and overcoming adversity. Like dive us into, because it's believe, exhale, feel,
listen, yield. Yes. So when you start with believe, the first thing you need to do when you find yourself in a tough situation, notice what you believe about yourself first. Wow. Because what I realized is that supervisor was not seeing me in my fullness and in my glory the way I was created from on high. And they were taking other people's opinions. And I had never really been in a position where I was trying to please someone. Mm-hmm. But I felt like I had to prove myself. Have you ever felt like you had to prove yourself? I mean, this is my evaluator.
No, you're true. That's true.
And so that's what I was trying to do. But after 2 years, I realized this is not working. Mm-mm. And that's when it occurred to me, this really is not about me. But it is, because it's something that I now can learn from and actually grow through. Since I have to go through it.
You better grow.
But
you better grow while you go.
I started looking at them. And I realized this person is under a lot of stress. Mm-hmm. They answer to a lot of bosses. And they don't know how to handle their stress well. So they're passing the buck down to the next level in the chain of employment. And so how do we cope with this? It's workplace toxicity. It turns into bullying. It turns into co-workers turning on one another because we're reverting to survival.
Yep, that's
and
it.
That's not how I was raised. That's not my core values. Wow. Those were not my beliefs. Mm-hmm. I'm a team player, mm-hmm. and I was trying to cover people and help be a part of the solution. So when I looked at believe, I said, what do they believe about me? But what do I believe about myself?
I like that. What do I believe about myself? That's true.
And do I have any limiting beliefs?
Wow.
That are causing me to be a part of this self-fulfilling prophecy. Because it started to affect me mentally, emotionally. I remember not sleeping well during that time. My eating changed. I started to be late to work because I started having anxiety about showing up. What was I going to encounter next in this situation? Who could I trust? I didn't even know anymore. And so I sat down and I wrote down, what are the thoughts I'm having that are now stumbling blocks for me?
Wow. Mm-hmm.
And then I remembered what my grandmothers had poured into me, what my parents had poured into me, how my siblings have always had my back. And I started writing affirmations. And that included scriptures. Mm-hmm. What does God say about me?
Oh, come on.
And it gave me a whole nother level of confidence. God revealed something to me. When he tells you something about you, when God confides in you about yourself and who you are and your destiny and where he's taking you, he gives you a glimpse of that glory. That's where your confidence comes from. Because God confided in you. So let that be the first thing that you believe above all else.
He confided. Wait, did you said, wait a minute.
God was talking to me about me. And I started listening and writing that down. It was like fresh rhema word. And I said, okay, so what do I need to believe in order to overcome this situation? I need to continue to show up and be fly on the outside. And I need to continue to show up and be fly on the inside because that's who I am. And not be worried about who I have to win over, but just continue to do a good job. So just resetting my beliefs, reminding myself of the truth of the matter and not the way the situation was presenting itself, not allowing it to tear me down. But I started rebuilding myself with the word, rebuilding myself with those who care about me most. And so E is for exhale. Self-care. Are we taking care of ourselves? First, when you find yourself in a tough moment, even in the person's face, they don't even realize it. But you can pause and take a few deep breaths. Mm-hmm. Because think about it. Sometimes when we feel anxious or when we feel caught off guard, we start tightening up. We hold our breath.
Yep, you do. Yep, you sure do.
So exhale. And from there, you'll naturally take a deep breath and calm yourself. Taking deep breaths lowers your heart rate. It refreshes the mind so that you can think more clearly in the moment. So if we just stop at B, we've covered a lot.
Ma'am, because you have said a lot in that, and I can just stay on, I don't know about you, audience, but I can just stick on B, just believe. Like, I need to stick with just the B by itself, just believe, because you said a lot in rethinking the beliefs that I have about myself, and not allowing the beliefs that other people have about me. Listen, if you want to, and if you want, you need to continue the journey to be fly. Sis, how can they follow you on social media? This is not the only book. Sis has been a part of a book, a collaborative or a co-author of a book. So show us the book. It's the people. It's the re-up.
The re-up, refocus, refuel, and rebuild. It's an anthology. 24 women contributed to this, and it's a devotional. I'm on page 60.
Go to page 60. And listen, I know that your late husband, I've got to throw his book in here really, really quick. Please throw it up on the camera. 24 hours
of prayer. To the God who never sleeps, Jehovah. And it's by Isaiah Sherman Jr., my late husband. And so also I use The Journey to Be Fly to help me go through the loss of my husband.
Sis, she has unpacked so much on tonight. I love her. I appreciate you. The Journey to Be Fly. Please get her book and please follow her on social media. This has been your Vitamin M. We will see you on next week.
Scan the QR code to purchase a book. And don't forget to follow LaNesha on social media at LaNesha Renee. Please visit our website at www.marshallsterling.com.